Well, welcome to Marking the End Times. I'm Mark Hitchcock, and this is a special edition of Marking the End Times from here in Egypt. Last week's program, I mentioned that my wife and I were at the Karnak Temple and gave a teaching there in front of a relief about an ancient battle at Armageddon and then the final battle that will take place there. And we've been here now for about 12 days in Egypt, and we've seen all kinds of sites. We've seen the great Giza pyramid platform. We've been to Memphis. We've been to the great Karnak Temple in Luxor. We've been to the Valley of the Kings, and now we've made our way all the way down south in Egypt to Sharm el-Sheikh. And to kind of just help you get your bearings where we are, we're in Sharm el-Sheikh, and I'm standing out here on the balcony of the place where we're staying. And the Sinai Peninsula is like kind of like a slice of pizza, if you will. You can get your phone out and look it up later, and it may help you get kind of again the geographical features here. But it's kind of like a giant slice of pizza, and we're down here at the very bottom of it, right here at Sharm el-Sheikh. It's a city here in Egypt on the Sinai Peninsula, and behind me back here is the Red Sea. This is the Red Sea, and you can see a land mass right over here over my left shoulder. And that is that's Saudi Arabia over there. So that's an uninhabited island. You're not allowed to go there, but that's Saudi Arabia there. This is the Red Sea. And then the way this is configured, we're down here at the very bottom of the Sinai Peninsula, and so this way, over here on this side, would be the Gulf of Suez. The Gulf of Suez that goes up to the Suez Canal. And then on this side is the Gulf of Aqaba. The Gulf of Aqaba goes all the way up to Eilat, which is the southern port there of the nation of Israel. And this is a really important site here at Sharm el-Sheikh for a couple of reasons, really for some things that have happened in the past, but also some things that we're seeing in the present happening here. To go back a ways, you remember that Israel had their first war, the War of Independence in 1948, when the modern state of Israel was founded. Then they had a second war in 1956, the Suez War. They fought against Egypt. But the third war was the 6-Day War. It was from June the 5th to June the 10th of 1967. And this was a very important place in that 6-Day War because there had been a lot of kind of escalating tensions between Israel and Syria in the north and Egypt in the south. But the real origin of the 6-Day War took place right over here at what's called the Straits of Tiran. Now, Tiran is T-I-R-A-N. You can see it off in the distance there. And what happened is the Egyptians set up a blockade there, and they wouldn't allow Israeli ships or Jewish ships to go either up the Gulf of Suez or up the Gulf of Aqaba to Eilat. And so as a result of that blockade, Israel attacked Egypt on June the 5th of 1967. And basically they pretty much destroyed the Egyptian Air Force on the ground. And that set off this 6-Day War. And Sharm el-Sheikh, where we are now, was taken by the Jews on June the 7th of 1967. This area was taken by the Jews. And so the Straits of Tiran here was basically, this was kind of the beginning of that war. And of course, as a result of the 6-Day War in 1967, Israel took the Golan Heights from Syria. They took the West Bank. They took Gaza. They took East Jerusalem, and they took this whole Sinai Peninsula from Egypt. Now, the Sinai Peninsula has been returned under Egyptian control. Of course, the West Bank is under Palestinian Authority control. Gaza is under the control of Hamas, although that war is taking place there now. But Israel still has control of the Golan Heights in the north. Now, where we are here at Sharm el-Sheikh, if you go this direction here, up this the Gulf of Aqaba, up that direction, you go to the area of the Gaza Strip. And the Gaza Strip, Rafah, where all that's happening right now, is only about 225 miles from here. And so we see the past year, really, the 1967 6-Day War. This was a key place there. Just 200 miles, 250 miles up here to the north is the Gaza Strip. But also, very significantly here, this direction right here, this is the Red Sea. Straight behind me is all the way down to Yemen. And Yemen, obviously, is where the Houthi rebels are today. And the Red Sea here, travel on the Red Sea has been massively disrupted by the attacks of Houthis against naval vessels, against shipping. They've had about 100 attacks against ships. Just 2 weeks ago, a cargo ship was sunk. And of course, the Houthis are backed by Iran. They're an Iranian-backed proxy, and the U.S. and UK and Australia and others have been hitting some sites in Yemen. So you can really see around here, even though we're in Egypt, we can see Iran's fingerprints in this entire area. Again, about 250 miles to the north is Gaza, which was all stirred, I believe, ultimately by Iran. They're behind all of that. And then down here to the south is these Houthi rebels in Yemen. And again, it's about 1,500 miles here down to Yemen through the Red Sea. Also stirred by Iran as well to do their bidding. So, here at Sharm el-Sheikh, this is a beautiful place. It's by far, of all the places we've been in Egypt, the most beautiful place. Egypt is a very poor country. About 115 million people live in Egypt, about a third of the population of the United States. And about 70% of the people in Egypt are dependent on bread subsidies. They have to have subsidies from the government just to be able to eat. But Sharm el-Sheikh's a beautiful place. They have a lot of climate change conferences here, peace conferences. So it's a very, very beautiful place right here on the Red Sea, but significant because of its role in the Six-Day War in the past. Obviously, it's near what's happening in Gaza today and what's happening down there with these Houthi rebels. And again, we just see Iran's fingerprints all over what's happening around this area, which again points toward the prophecy of Ezekiel 38 and 39 of Iran being one of the key players in that. The Houthis are firing missiles constantly into Israel. They're a thorn in Israel's side. They're not only causing all this disruption here with the traffic and with the trade, but they're firing missiles into Israel. And so Iran is involved in all of what's happening here. And that's really consistent with what we see in Ezekiel chapter 38 that tells us in the end times, Russia with Iran will be a great power against Israel, and it will come against Israel in the end times. And so what we see happening is really a preview of what's coming in the future. I'll just mention to you, I hope to do another video up on Mount Sinai. We're going to head out about 10 o'clock tonight, maybe around midnight, drive 3 hours to St. Catherine's Monastery, and then we're going to hike up all night long. We'll be up to the top of Mount Sinai, and we'll be there for sunrise. So I hope to do another video there and explain some things about the significance of Mount Sinai, certainly its past, but also how it's related to the future as well. So hope you're enjoying these special updates, these special editions of Marking the End Times. I've been having a great time doing this. So I hope to see you soon. God bless you.